What's up, Boulder, Colorado? Today we have several great news stories for you, so let's get started. Our main story today is about Coach Prime pulling out his magic wand and bringing on an absolutely spectacular visitor to campus. Not only is a star player visiting, but he also has a very unique connection with Coach Prime. Plus, we're going to talk about Colorado's star player getting in a car wreck and a couple other great stories. So grab you an iced caramel macchiato, sit back and get ready because this is the prime time for college football. Now, our first story today, we're going to talk about an epic visitor coming to campus. It was recently announced by On3, shout out to Pete Nakos, that all Pac-12 edge rusher B.J. Green will be visiting Colorado. Now, Green was a former Arizona State standout who transferred to Washington to play for Coach DeBoer. But when Mcclain left for Alabama, he decided against following him there. Green is a very highly sought-after talent, being one of the nation's top pass rushers with 1 year of eligibility remaining. He's 6'1", he's 270 pounds, he's from Prince Avenue Christian School. That's in Georgia in the southeast. Last season, he had 39 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks. He had a forced fumble as well. He was the clear sack leader for Arizona State in 2022. Green's first football coach as a youth player in Atlanta was Coach Prime. Now, Green played running back there, but Coach Prime told him he would eventually play defense instead of being a running back, and it ended up being true. He was one of the nation's best last year as a defender. Colorado's biggest opposition to land Green is Ole Miss, who he visited there very recently. Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss are rumored to have spent over $10 million this year on their recruiting and transfers so far. So this could end up being an NIL battle. Now, I've told you guys, I've talked about this some. I believe that some of you may have listened and some of you may have stepped up. I think Colorado's NIL efforts are in a better place than they were when we first mentioned them. I think for Colorado to win this, they probably will have to step up to the plate a little bit and be willing to play ball with the big boys. Ole Miss's transfer class is one of the best in the country. Colorado's is one of the best in the country. If you look at On3, if you look at 247, it doesn't matter. Both of them have elite transfer portal classes. Ole Miss is gearing up to go for it all this year. They are a very trendy pick in the SEC next year to compete with Georgia for the SEC championship and thus get into the 12-team playoff. But Colorado is also a very trendy pick as well. This is a battle that we want to emphasize could be a lot of fun to see go down. It could be a battle that we see later in the year once the playoffs do roll around. Colorado's got some work to do. They've got some holes to fill, but getting to the Big 12 and competing against some of those teams, minus Texas and Oklahoma, could be a benefit for Colorado this year as they look to get into that 12-team playoff in Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders' final season. Do you guys think that Coach Prime can beat out Lane Kiffin here? Let us know down in the comments below if the Buffs can pick up this star player. Next, let's talk about a Colorado star getting in a car wreck. Now, recently, TMZ reported that Colorado 5-star DB Cormani Mcclain was involved in a car accident. Per the report, the accident happened on January 15th, less than a mile away from Colorado's campus. Apparently, Mcclain's car slid into another vehicle when trying to brake for a red light. Fortunately, a spokesperson for the Boulder Police Department said there were no reported injuries and neither car suffered major damage. We're told, however, Mcclain was issued a citation for driving too fast for the weather conditions. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I am a Florida boy a lot like Cormani. I know I can drive well, but I don't know about being able to do it in all of that ice and snow in Boulder. And I think it's something that we should be thankful for, that there were no serious injuries, that it's just a citation, and that Cormani ultimately is going to be okay. It's pretty amazing. We've only heard of one player getting into a wreck there. But if you believe in the good Lord above and you're thankful that Cormani was not injured seriously here, maybe give a little shout out in the comments thanking whoever you believe in that Cormani is okay and was able to walk away from this. Scary situation, could have ended up much, much worse. It certainly reminds us of our priorities and how we need to keep things straight. Lastly, let's talk about Coach Prime's top secret name that he used to use when he was hiding from the media. Prime used the fake name of a famous comedian and actor during his NFL and MLB careers. Recently, Peter King was quoted as saying, "I remember going to a lobby phone in the downtown Pittsburgh Hilton late on a Sunday afternoon in August of '92. Could you ring the room of Red Fox, please?" I said. Deion Sanders' pseudonym in road hotels. He'd given it to me because he knew the media was there and SI and everyone else was angling for second place, and he wanted a pipeline to the magazine. Now, I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember Sanford and Son, but it was an absolutely iconic show back when Coach Prime was growing up and was really the first generation of comedy. This came before Cosby. This came before Martin. I did think it was kind of funny that Coach Prime chose to use this name. We have talked a ton about Coach Prime's sense of humor. We've talked a ton about how he's not afraid for people to laugh with him in serious situations, in very funny situations, during football games. He's talked about busting out on the sideline. And we think this is hilarious that this got brought up by Peter King, obviously of SI. We think that it shows that Coach Prime didn't just develop the sense of humor later in life like some do. He certainly has always had that. He's certainly always been a jokester. And it's funny to see. I don't know how many of you or how much I'm dating the audience, but remember Sanford and Son, have watched reruns maybe, or maybe you caught it live. But if you did, let us know down in the comments. Maybe even shout out your favorite show or episode that you saw of it. Coach Prime, certainly a character in and of himself to use this. Hey, we told you about something last week, and then I absolutely blew it. So I'm going to try again. Started a national channel on which we will cover Coach Prime some. We'll keep most of Coach Prime stuff on this channel, but we want to talk about the sport in general, NIL, transfer portal, other teams, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Florida State, all kind of stuff that wouldn't necessarily fit on a Coach Prime or Colorado channel like this is. So if you want to show support, if you want to see some takes that we've got from a national perspective, and maybe even a little bit of Deion Sanders content as well, do me a favor and click the video on the screen. Watch that video, see if you like it. If you do, great, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, no worries. Stay subscribed here. We're not going anywhere. We'll continue to put Coach Prime content on this channel. Last week when I told you to do this, I forgot to link the video at the end, and so you had nothing to click on. But if you want to show a little support, if you want to come on over to the national channel with us as well, we would certainly appreciate it. It will help us grow. If you've got a favorite college football team that's not Coach Prime, you're going to want to be over there because we're going to cover your team at some point. I've seen you guys comment with your favorite teams, Florida State, Michigan, Ohio State, Texas, all of them. Make sure you're subscribed to that national channel as well. Again, we're not going anywhere, but click the video on the screen right now to get access to it. Thank you guys for watching the prime time for college football.